Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. Something's wrong here. There we go. Thank you for joining us this morning. The title, as Carolyn has said, is Marketing 101, Creating a Plan. I'm your presenter today, and I joined the Small Business Development Center about 3 years ago, and that was after a 40-year career in both domestic and global marketing in the healthcare capital equipment and medical device field. And it's been a real joy to work with all the small business owners out there, helping them get started and so forth. So one of the most misunderstood terms in the business vernacular is probably marketing. So we're going to start at the very beginning. In other words, what is marketing? Okay, marketing includes marketing product research, product development and enhancement, product distribution, pricing and sales strategy, public relations, and customer support. Most of the time when somebody says, well, I need a marketing rep, well, what they're referring to is they need a sales rep, or advertising is marketing. It is much, much more than just those two individual points. As a matter of fact, you can boil marketing down to the 5 P's of marketing. And think of your business in this way. So you have a product, that's the first P. What is your product or your service offering? What is the price of your product or service? Are your prices competitive? What is your pricing strategy? There's a million ways till Sunday to price a product or a service. There's utility pricing, there's margin maintenance pricing. So it all depends on what you're bringing to market, how you want to price your product. And then the third P is promotion. How are you promoting your business or products to your target customers? Okay, that's what includes the sales, public relations, direct marketing, advertising, and so forth. That's the one piece that most people think of when they refer to marketing, and that's the promotional piece. The fourth piece, which is just as important, is place. And by place, I mean, what is your distribution channel? How are you getting your product to the market or to the target market? Do you have a direct sales organization? Are you selling through dealers? Are you wholesaling to outside vendors and so on and so forth? Or in today's day and age, are you doing it strictly via online? So that's the place part of marketing. And lastly, position. Where does your product or service fit, okay, across the continuum of all the other products and services out there? The example I always like to use is Walmart versus Neiman Marcus. You can make money at both. It depends on your strategy. Or one might think Porsche versus Ford. Same sort of thing. Okay, so that's basically what marketing is. And if you think of your business as in terms of those 5 P's, you pretty much boil it down to the basics for success in your business. Okay? Traditional marketing over the years has been done through whether primary or secondary research. Primary research is actually input from the actual customer or client themselves. Excuse me. And secondary research is the type of research that you would go out and purchase. Now, research nowadays with the internet is extremely easy, much easier than it used to be in the past. But also, traditional marketing used to delve into print ads and newspapers, flyers, billboards, magazine ads, and so on and so forth, or radio and television. Okay, that's the way traditional marketing used to be executed. All those things, by today's standards, are relatively expensive versus what we'll get into in the digital marketing area. Okay? But regardless of whether you're using traditional marketing tactics or digital marketing, it should all be represented in a comprehensive marketing plan. And in that plan, you should articulate your vision, your goals and objectives, define your market, look at your business SWOT, that's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we'll talk about that later on. It evaluates your competition. What are your competition's strengths and what are their weaknesses? It identifies your differentiators. What makes you the best? What makes people want to deal with you in your business? It defines your market position, your core strategy, your pricing rationale. Okay, how are you going to position your product or service relative to everybody else out there? Defines your core branding elements, logo, colors, taglines, etc. And it defines your promotional activities, the budget, and the vehicles that are used. So the first step in putting together any sort of a campaign or promoting your business is actually the plan. After 40 years in the corporate world, my favorite business quote comes from Alice in Wonderland, if you can imagine that. And that's when Alice is standing at the crossroads and the Cheshire Cat is looking down at her and says, if you don't know where you're going, then any road will get you there. So what we want to do with a plan, whether it's a marketing plan or a business plan, is plan out our business. And that includes a financial plan as well. Any business should engage in those types of planning activities. So what are the elements of a comprehensive marketing plan? Well, the first part of it, as I said before, what's your vision? Okay, what do you want your company to be? Or what do you want your business to be? What are your goals and objectives? Now, remember, goals and objectives should be measurable. They should be tied to something that after 6 months or a year, you can look back at and say, I accomplished that goal, or I accomplished that objective. So many people like to say, provide the best customer service around. Well, that's okay, but how are you going to measure it? And how are you going to know if you met that goal or that objective? And what is a market description? And if you have different products and different services, it can be totally different. Now, the overall market is, if you can envision a view from about 100,000 feet. Okay, so you might have cell phones. Okay, well, everybody has a cell phone nowadays, so it's what, roughly 320 million people. Okay, that's your market description. Okay, the overall market. But 3.1 dials that microscope down, and it basically says, what is my ideal customer? So in the case of cell phones, somebody that wants a 6-inch screen, or wants to be able to do this or be able to do that. Okay, so that makes your target market much more finite. Okay, so dialing it down so that you're basically shooting with a rifle as opposed to a shotgun. Okay, what is a SWOT analysis? Some of you may have done this before. But again, all three of these things, your overall market, your ideal customer, your target market, and your SWOT, is product specific if you have multiple products, multiple categories of products, or multiple types of services. So what is a SWOT? A SWOT is where you look at your strengths. Now, keep in mind that strengths and weaknesses are largely internal. So those are you, the business owner, or the employee, or the group of employees, if you have a larger company. What are the strengths and the weaknesses? They're internal to the organization. Okay, what do you bring to the business? What are your weaknesses in the business? Okay, it forces a very introspective look into your business and how you can be successful and where you need to improve. Opportunities and threats, on the other hand, are typically external. And we've come through, or we are emerging from, a time period where the threats in the way of COVID have taken their toll on everybody. Okay, it's forced us to do things differently. But what are the opportunities, external opportunities, and what are the external threats to your business? Opportunities, particularly here in the Charleston area, the fact that the population is continuing to grow. And if you want to get even more finite, you can look at communities like Somerville or Goose Creek. Those are actually growing at a faster rate. Okay, so those are opportunities: a greater population, a greater universe of potential customers. Competition. What are your top 3 competition? Okay, or your top 3 competitors? excuse me. And they may be direct competitors, they may be indirect competitors. Now, what do I mean by that? Direct competitors are those competitors that do exactly what you do. Okay. Indirect competitors are those competitors that do part of what you do. Let me give you an example. A direct competitor, let's use auto parts. Okay. If you're in the auto parts business, you've got the people out there like Parks, you've got all the different chain Pep Boys and so on and so forth. They do specifically auto parts, and they do products that allow you to take care of your car. Those are direct competitors. What are indirect competitors? Well, you can get wax and washes and additives and oil and things like that at Walmart or Target or someplace like that. So those are indirect competitors. So don't only look at the direct competitors, but take a look at the indirect competitors as well. What are their strengths and weaknesses, okay, of each one? What do they do best versus what do you do best? Where do they fail, and where might your weaknesses be? How can you capitalize on their weaknesses, okay, and avoid their strengths or combat their strengths with various blocks and wedges, as we used to say in the corporate world? How do you stop somebody that has a strength that you just can't compete on? Okay, so maybe it forces you to do things a little bit differently. But before you can put together a strategy, you need to know what your competitors do. What are their strengths and what are their weaknesses? Okay. Number 4, differentiators. What makes you different? Okay. What makes people want to do business with X, Y, Z? Okay. And again, that could be product or service specific. What market position do you want to occupy? Could it be low price, low value, high price, high value? Again, I go back to the example of Walmart versus Neiman Marcus. Okay, Walmart, if you envision an axis, a horizontal and a vertical axis, and then a quadrant there, down in the lower left-hand corner would be low price, low value, and the upper right-hand corner would be high price, high value, and conversely for the other two diagonal quadrants. So where you want to fall in there, okay? Do you want to be the low price provider with medium value maybe? There's no right or wrong to any of these things. You can make money anywhere you want to position your product or service, okay? It's all in how you go about setting up your business. So back to the example of Walmart and Neiman Marcus, or let's use this. Let's use Porsche versus Ford, okay? Porsche, okay? A dealer can sell one Porsche and make as much money as 10 Fords, if you will, or Chevys, or Dodges, or whatever the case may be. Okay, they can both be successful. They can both make money. It's all in how you want to position yourself. So that leads into what is your core strategy? Okay, oftentimes I'll talk to clients and I'll say, okay, I know that you've sat around the dinner table or had a cup of coffee or maybe a beer and you've thought about what you want to do going into business. Give me the back of the envelope strategy. What were your thoughts, okay, about how you would go into business? What is your high level statement of strategy, or how are you going to accomplish your objectives? Okay. There may be multiple strategies. Strategies now, not tactics. Okay, tactics are tasks. Strategies are an overriding thought or a way of accomplishing an objective or a goal. Okay. That leads into core branding elements, your logo, your colors, your fonts, your taglines. Okay, everybody knows about logos, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on. But what are your colors? Once you establish your logo, that should appear pretty much on everything, on your invoices, on your business cards, on any sort of digital or traditional marketing pieces that you have. And your same colors, once you pick your colors, you want those to remain consistent as well. It's all about building a brand so that when people see that, They know exactly who you are. The fonts and the typefaces that you use on your business cards, your website, and so on and so forth, they need to be consistent. And a tagline. What is a tagline? Okay, a tagline is something that goes along with your logo and should appear pretty much consistently wherever your logo appears. Let me give you a couple of examples. BMW's tagline. Okay, the logo, first of all, is the circle with the blue and white quadrants. I think we all recognize that. What's a tagline? The ultimate driving machine. Okay, or Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Those are taglines. It's a hard-hitting, succinct statement about what you do. Okay? I have a client that specializes in brush mitigation, clearing underbrush, and so forth. We came up with his tagline, no brush too tough. So those are things that you need to develop when you're trying to build a brand. And then your pricing rationale. How do you arrive at your end user price? Now, if you're selling through wholesalers or dealers, you need to work it backwards, okay? Because your competitors are not competing against your wholesale price, they're competing against your end user price. So what price do you want your product to be by the time it gets to the end user or the consumer that's buying it? That's a whole exercise, pricing rationale. Okay. The other part of a plan is actually the implementation. How are you going to, once you've defined it, those points that we just worked through there, the top 7 points, once you've defined your market and the characteristics of your market and the competition that you'll be facing and so forth, and your own internal strengths and weaknesses, etc., okay, how are you going to implement your plan? These things here all need to come into consideration. Is it something that you're going to need, written marketing collateral pieces? So if you're knocking door to door and you're selling, maybe pest services, okay, what do I want to say? To stop pests from coming into your homes. Perhaps you want to have a piece of collateral that tells about your various services and so on and so forth. Okay? Or if it's the type of a business that you gather people together, maybe for coffee or something like that, maybe you want to have a pitch deck or a presentation to tell people about your business. Testimonials are very powerful. We've all gone to Amazon and we've looked at reviews. Those essentially are testimonials of people that have brought that product before. If it's a technical product, or coming out of my background, medical devices and healthcare capital equipment, white papers are very powerful. So if you're dealing in that sort of market, then what you need to do is you need to find a subject matter expert to write a technical white paper or get something published. Okay. Web plan, what are your tactics? Who, what, where, when, and how? That goes for your website, your social media plan, any advertising that you're doing, referrals, lead generation plan. How are you going to handle that lead when it comes in? So somebody responds to your contact me page on your website. What are you going to do with that? Okay. These are all things that need to be considered. And then how are you going to convert that lead into a sale? Are you going to go visit the person? Are you going to call the person? Are you going to email the person? What are you going to do? You need to think through all of these sorts of things. And then the service experience. Once your product is placed in the market, how are you going to service it if it requires service? Okay, is it a disposable? Does it have a warranty? What are you going to do if warranty comes into play and your product just no longer works? You're just going to replace it, or you're going to want the old one back? You need to think through all of these things. These are all the basic elements of an overall marketing plan. So whether you're doing traditional marketing or digital marketing, branding is very, very important. It is your unique identity, okay? And it creates that consistency in your marketing campaign. And it creates awareness of your product, your service, your company. Okay? Company name, your logo, your tagline, colors, shapes, sounds, type fonts. Those three that I have in the lower right-hand corner there, we all know the companies, okay? Used to see the Golden Arches a lot. Now they end their ads oftentimes with a little bit of a tune, and I won't even attempt to try and sing it. Okay, but it's a tune, and you all recognize it. We all recognize it. So when you see your logo, what you want is you want your potential customers to identify you, and that holds true whether it's color or whether it's typeface or font, whatever the case may be. That's how you build a brand. So whether it's traditional marketing techniques, digital marketing is now the new age. Okay, all of the same principles apply that we had in traditional marketing. It's just that the delivery of the message has or can have changed. Okay, how you deliver that message, or as it says here, the marketing methodology doesn't change the how, but it's a different way of executing your plan. So all of you should be involved in some business networking sites, i.e., LinkedIn or social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so forth. Engage in email marketing campaigns, all right? Paid pop-up and banner ads that go across various websites and so forth. So digital marketing is the umbrella term for any marketing of products or services using digital technologies. Okay? It could be through the internet, it could be through mobile phones, display advertising, and so forth. It's also known as data-driven marketing. That's why people, when you go to buy a product, they want to know a profile. Okay? They want to know, you might have answered some questions sometimes. Why do you want to know my age? All I want to do is buy your product. Well, so that they can better market to your age. That's the whole concept of Big Brother out there in the Googles of the world, knowing what websites you visit. Okay, what are you shopping for? Big Brother is watching. They're using that data. That data is immensely profitable to them. If they know where you're going, how much time you're spending on that, what website, and so on and so forth, they can incorporate that. And it also, digital marketing also allows small businesses to compete. But it still requires a marketing strategy and a plan. It's real easy to get on Facebook, okay, and start advertising your business, all right? But you need to have a plan. Again, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So you need to determine where you're going, where you want to be. Okay. Digitization becomes essential to being successful in the business world today. More companies are taking to digital marketing. And we just talked why. Because it's easily identifiable where you're sending your ads to. With digital marketing, you can captivate your customers, hold them captive. Where traditional marketing, that's not so easy to do. Okay, back in my earlier years, we had print ads and so forth, so we were somewhat limited into who our audience was, when we could reach them, and so on and so forth. We all know that the online users nowadays are increasing every day. So it's more important than ever to take advantage of digital marketing in some way, shape, or form. So a few facts here. Why is this important? Well, 80% of the shoppers or buyers do research online before investing in a product or service. We've all done it. I do it. I'm sure all of you have done it too. 60% of the U.S. adults use Facebook on a regular basis. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. It's just a fact. 94% of business-to-business marketers are actively using LinkedIn for marketing. Now, B2B versus, you'll see in the bottom one there, 90% of business to consumer, that's what the B2C means. Businesses report social media as being the most effective content marketing tactic. Okay, and mobile digital advertising accounts for over 70% of digital spend these days. So why? All right, digital marketing versus traditional marketing. Digital marketing is much more economical. Okay? Traditional marketing, i.e. print ads and so forth, it's expensive and it's time consuming. With digital marketing, you can go viral very easily. You can share messages. That's actually, when you share a post, that's like a force multiplier. So if you're using Facebook, all right, and you're using hashtags, and you share a post with your people, that's a force multiplier right there. Something you don't get with traditional marketing. It's got to work at its own pace. For example, if you run an ad in a magazine, you're only going to reach the people that pick that magazine up. Okay. So what the different tools you can easily find out with digital marketing, you can measure your campaign almost instantaneously. It's almost impossible to measure traditional marketing ads, and it takes much, much longer. You have 24/7 access with digital marketing, where you don't with traditional marketing. Again, you're only available to reach that audience. Let's use radio, for example. That's why drive times are the most expensive in radio advertising, because they've got people in captive audiences and so forth. A return on investment in a short period of time with digital marketing, you can capture the amount of people that saw your digital ad and compute your return on investment. So if it costs you X amount of dollars and you reach thousands of people, you can do that almost instantaneously. Okay. For traditional marketing needs, i.e. print ads, radio ads, TV spots, and so on and so forth, you have to wait much longer. Again, back in my career when I used to use print media, they had bingo cards in there. Okay, a bingo card was basically, you've seen them, I'm sure. You thumb through a magazine or you thumb through a tablet of some type, and you circle the page of the ad, or you circle the ad and you mail it. Okay, so that only measures the people that, number one, took the time to circle the ad for more information and drop it in the mailbox. Okay, it's difficult to measure all the people that might have seen your traditional marketing ad. One of the foundations of a digital marketing campaign is your website. Do you have a website? Here's some basics. Is it easy to find? Does it have the appropriate SEOs? Now, what are SEOs? SEOs are search engine optimization words. That makes you pop up first. What's one of the factors that makes you pop up first when people shop for auto parts? Back to the example I used earlier. Okay. So the objective is to have as many SEOs in there so that when people type those magic words in when they're doing the search, you pop up first. There are other factors as well, like the amount of the updating of your website. You don't want to create a website and just let it sit there for years and years and years. All right. I had a very successful client. Okay. And I asked her if she had a website. She said, yeah. So this happened to be in the dog grooming business. And I searched for dog groomers. And she was on page number 7. Why? She had a website, but she had never updated it. She had all the appropriate SEOs in there, but she had never updated it. So even if you have those magic words embedded in your website, you need to update it. And that could be changing a paragraph. It could be publishing a new testimonial. It could be pictures, adding new pictures, and so forth. The more you update it, that will keep you up to the top of the search much more regularly. Is it customer friendly? Rule of thumb. You should be able to get where you want to be with 3 clicks. Does it contain links to your social media pages, blogs, articles, brochures, videos, etc.? It doesn't contain a landing or a funnel page for leads from your social media. Those are all important things for your website. Consider your website as the anchor for your digital marketing campaign, your digital marketing tools. Okay. Do you have a social media page for your company? Not your personal page. Do not use your personal page. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but it should be a social media page for your company. Okay, that's LinkedIn, that's business to business. Okay, remember, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all the others. They should be social media pages for your company, not your personal social media page. All right, so your ideal website, it has links. You can see across the bottom of this web page here, has links to the various social media pages. All right. One thing that a lot of people forget is to close the loop. you need to have a page, a landing page or a funnel page on your website that when people get to your social media pages, they can come back to the anchor to your website where the story is much more thorough, gives you the opportunity to tell your customers, potential customers, much more about yourself, what you're doing, what you offer, and so on and so forth. So don't forget that important link. Complete the circle. Okay. So think of your website like a resume. Okay. Clean, short. Get your audience's attention. I see so many websites where people want to put everything on the first page. You don't want to do that. You don't want to clutter it up. The home page should be organized as a home page. Succinct statements, get your customers' attention, and go on from there. And then you have various tabs or various links to go to your about page. How did you get started in business? There's a lot of you that have very, very interesting stories. That's where you tell the story, not on your home page. Okay, then you have your product page, your shopping page, your various products, testimonial page, and so on and so forth. Okay. You want to do this so that your home page doesn't get cluttered with a lot of information. One important thing you want to do on every page is a call to action. A call to action and a link to your social media pages. What's a call to action? Contact us. Make it easy for your customers to get in contact with you. They found you, they've read your homepage, they want to buy something. Make it easy. Don't make them search for the contact us page. Put a radio button or some sort of a link right on that homepage, on every page. Make it easy to buy. Okay. So these are your digital marketing website things we talked about here. Search engine optimization strategy. What links do you want to put in there? What content is important that you know that people are looking for when they might be looking for your business? Back to the plan. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Avoid your weaknesses and emphasize your strengths on your website. That's why you did the plan. That's why you defined your products, you defined your market, you defined your competitors, and you defined your strengths and weaknesses. So you want to be attractive to those things that put you in the best light and avoid somebody that, you want to avoid sending somebody to XYZ company. You want to keep them there. You want to keep them captivated. Okay. There are a lot of reference sites out there that can help you measure the activity of your website. How many people, the click-through rate, how many people visited your website, how long did they spend on there, and so forth. And that probably the most common one is the bottom one, Google Analytics. Those are all important things for your website. They're banner advertisements. You've all seen them, and we all get annoyed by them. Okay, you're trying to research a product and something pops up or something floats across the screen that you don't really care about. Yeah, but they get people's attention, right? So if you do that sort of thing, if you engage in that sort of advertising, make it impactful, make it a hook, make it reach out and grab somebody when it's floating by across the screen or when it's popping up. Make somebody want to click on it and find out what the heck it's all about. Okay? It should be linked back to your overall business strategy. Any advertising you do, anything that you put on your website needs to follow that strategy. If it doesn't, one or two things have to happen. Either you need to change it or you need to go back and change your strategy. Okay? But they should follow the strategy. Email marketing. How many people don't get enough emails? All right. Yeah, we all get too many, right? But it is and can be a very effective way to reach out to your potential customers, to follow up with your potential customers, okay, and to attract new customers. So any email marketing that you do, okay, you don't want to be annoying people. Don't send an email twice a day to people. Don't engage in that type of, because all they're going to do is they're going to trash it. They see it, they trash it. If you want to do it, the same with social media posts, and I'll get into that. Don't become an annoyance. People aren't going to read it. All right. So be effective, be succinct. Okay. You should be able to read an email marketing piece in about, if it takes 30 seconds, that's almost too long. So you want to put something on there that is impactful, that makes people want to click the link that you're going to put in there or reach out to you directly. But don't become an annoyance. Okay, that's the downside of the digital marketing age. It's too easy to become an annoyance with people. Again, social media posts grab the attention, just like your email marketing, of your target audience. Catchy, wordy, phrases. Do it frequently, but not too much. You have to walk that boundary. So let me give you an example. I'm doing Facebook posts every day. All right. Are you maintaining that frequency? If you're not maintaining that frequency, that's a problem. Okay. I often tell people, if you want to do Facebook marketing, start with maybe 2 to 3 times a week and see if you can keep that pace up, because people will notice when you're not there. Okay. If they're actually following you, okay, they're going to notice when they don't get a post. Okay. So engage your customers when you do post. Okay. And it doesn't have to always be an advertisement for your business. There's a lot of clients that I know that I've advised as far as, okay, so if you want to post on Facebook 3 times a week. All right. So maybe Monday might be fun fact day. Okay. Pick out fun facts. Everybody likes to know the origin of phrases and words, and you can do all sorts of research on that. Okay. Make it short. Okay. Where did the word threshold come from? Or, where did the phrase "don't let the bed bugs bite" come from? Okay. Those are kind of interesting little tidbits. So maybe you do that Monday. Maybe Wednesday is your favorite recipe day. Okay. And maybe Friday, it's an ad for your business. Okay. So it doesn't have to always be about your business. The main point is you want to get people almost addicted to your Facebook pages or your Twitter pages or posts. Okay. 3 things that always sell: animals, babies, and satisfied customers. I encourage pictures. Okay. Somebody with a new child moved into a new house that you just sold. Okay. They got big smiles on their faces. They're happy customers. Okay. Or somebody's dog or somebody's cat or a baby surrounded by a dog and a cat. Okay. Everybody loves animals and everybody loves babies. And satisfied customers. They want to know, you want to know that, or your customers want to know that what you've done for other people has made them very satisfied. So it's easy to use customer testimonials as well. It helps build a positive reputation for your business. But it can also work in the other direction too. You can maintain a good social media reputation. Okay, that's essential to being successful. However, if you do get a bad response and you do get a complaint, you need to deal with it. And that here you'll see is when we get down the list here. So these are some do's and don'ts for social media posts. Try to create daily or weekly posts, okay, to your different social media pages. Okay, you want to engage people. You want to attract people. You want people to share your post. That's why the things about the fun facts are so neat, because people know other people that are interested in that sort of thing as well. And that's just an example. There's a million different examples you can think of. Okay, so they're going to share your post. And remember, sharing a post is like a force multiplier. Okay? Don't harass your customers, whether it's social media or whether it's email marketing. Okay, resist the temptation. You can actually sit down, if you're using Facebook, for example, on a Sunday evening and do your week's post. You can do your month's post, and you can schedule them when they can go out or when they need to go out, the particular time of the particular day. And you can do that all on a Sunday evening when you're sitting watching your favorite TV show or when you're relaxing. Okay? Do engage your customers. Remember, animals, babies, happy customers. Don't be negative to a customer on a social media post. That has to be dealt with differently. All right. If you get a complaint or a negative post in response or negative response to one of your posts, pick up the phone, do the best that you can to address that post or address a negative review on your website. Do it in person, okay? And I don't mean give away the store. Contact the person, okay? What's it going to take for me to make you a satisfied customer? And it might be as simple as just acknowledging and apologizing. It might be as simple as refunding their money. Okay, fine. Okay, but you don't have to go overboard, but you do need to address it. Okay, keep up with your social media. As I mentioned earlier, people will notice when you quit. All right. I had a staff when I was in my corporate life who wanted to start a monthly newsletter. I said, okay, that's fine. I want 6 months of the newsletter on my desk before we post the first one. And when one goes out, I want it replaced because it's too easy to drop off, whether it's a monthly newsletter, a monthly email campaign, a daily post. Life happens. And it's too easy to get distracted, and people will notice when they don't get it from you. All right. So advertising on social media, that can be very helpful. There are paid ads, non-paid ads on Facebook and Instagram. You can buy Google ads. You can do pay-per-click advertisements and so forth. But you don't have to. Just getting started out, you can often do it yourself, do it for free. Or if you're not proficient with social media, find somebody that is, okay? And enlist their help. If they'll do it for free, great. If not, pay them a little stipend or something. Just make sure that they follow the guidelines and they're doing what you want them to do. Measure your results. Okay? Marketing has always been seen as an expense. It is not. It is not an expense, it's an investment. And as I mentioned earlier, digital marketing is easily measurable. And it should be viewed as an investment. It's real easy to show a return on your marketing investment today, particularly when you're using social media. However, marketing campaigns need to be aligned with the media mix to promote your business strategy. Back to the plan, back to the bottom 8 or 9 different points. Once you've defined your market, once you've defined your pricing strategy, once you've defined your competitors and so forth, implement your plan. If you find it's not working, hey, the plan is not cut in concrete. Go back and redo it. Change it. Okay? It's like if you're on a vacation, you're taking a road trip. If you come upon a detour, road closed, okay, so you take a little detour. That's not a problem. Okay, just make sure that it's consistent. Make sure that your strategy fits your new direction and the new way that you decided to go, and let that trickle down into your marketing campaign. So how do you put together a successful campaign? You plan your campaign, and you also define at that time how you want to track it. You define the channels you might want to use. Is it direct? Is it referrals? How many referrals you're going to get? Is it a paid campaign? Is it email? Is it social? Is it organic? Is it just something that you ask people when you come in, they come into your storefront? What metrics are you going to use? That's going to be dependent on what type of a channel that you use. Web content, your click-through rate, page views, conversion rate, how many people have visited your site that actually converted into a lead? Okay, how many people actually open your email? Hey, don't get discouraged. If you send out 1,000 emails and only 10 people open them, all right, or 100 people open them, okay, that's great. 100 people, that's 10%, right? Okay, the average email marketing campaign gets an average of about 1 to 1.5% people opening emails. So don't get discouraged. So you report your findings versus your return on investment. Sit down, do the math. Was it worthwhile? If it wasn't worthwhile, then don't do it again. Change it up, do something different. So in conclusion, for a campaign, research your target market and audience. Create a comprehensive marketing plan. Create your marketing goals. Again, they have to be measurable. What are your strategies? How are you going to accomplish that goals? How are you going to determine the appropriate media mix? That's largely going to depend on your target market. Okay, what's your budget? How are you going to implement the plan? And then test and measure your results with your ROI. So Traditional marketing methodology plus digital delivery equals profitability in today's day and age. It'll increase your sales. It'll keep less inventory in your stock room or in your storeroom, which is dollars sitting on the shelves. You want to get those turns of inventory, right? It'll educate your customer base as to your business and what you can provide, okay? And it'll also cultivate returning customers while opening up communication vehicles with all customers and potential customers. So this is us here at the Small Business Development Center. There's 1,000 centers across the country. All of our services are provided free of charge. We engage in one-on-one counseling for everybody, and that's my advertisement slide there now. Are there any questions, Carolyn?
Yes, sir. We do have a few questions. And one thing I would like to say before we go to the questions is we have someone that is attending that is in the room with the name Jewel. Jewel, if you could please type your full name into the chat box so we can confirm your attendance, that would be most helpful. So here we go with the questions, Jim.
Okay.
So from Melissa St. Clair, when creating an online course in accordance with your brand, do you think a play on your standard logo could work? i.e. the teacher in the course might be teaching B while standard logo is working B.
If it's all the same company, you want to keep your logos consistent. Okay. If it's all the same company, now if it's two different companies and you're set up with two different structures and two different target markets, then a play on the standard logo could work. All right. But if it's all under the umbrella of one company, then I would keep the standard logo, the standard font types, and deal with the deviation a little bit different. But again, you want the people to recognize your logo, recognize your company, and perhaps it's a different product that your company offers.
So it sounds like, Jim, from what Melissa is asking, their logo might literally reference a bee, like, a honeybee. And so the teacher might be a teaching bee while the standard logo is a working bee. So you would be incorporating your logo just within a scenario, I'm thinking. Does that?
Yeah. I mean, logos aren't to be changed. If you incorporate, it's okay to incorporate your logo into something else, all right, or to add other identifiers or logos with it, but you always want to keep your logo consistent. That's kind of like sacred.
And Melissa St. Clair asked again, Google listing for virtual-based businesses. So what are your thoughts about Google listings? And Robert, you might be able to add some information with this as well.
Google listing in the way of Google advertising and so forth, and that would be good for virtual businesses. It's probably more appropriate for virtual business as opposed to i.e. I'm assuming that it's some sort of a consulting business or something that can be delivered via Zoom or over the website. So yeah, that would be good in that aspect as opposed to an actual tangible type of a product. Robert, any thoughts?
I agree.
Okay.
So here is another one. Thank you, Caitlin, for your question. If you are an online seller, how do you not harass your customers? We have to post each product on our page, but we don't want to overdo it and get annoying. But at the same time, each item we sell is different. So we have to show each individual item.
No, you don't have to show each individual item. What you need to do is you need to back up, all right, and you need to come up. Each individual item, let's say, is at the 1,000 foot level, all right? You need to think through what your business delivers to the end user of your products, and you want to promote that as opposed to each individual product. Now, website obviously you want to have individual products on. But when you're promoting it via social media or email marketing, you don't need to, nor do I advocate that you show each individual product. Your objective then becomes to drive people to your website. Remember I said your website should be your anchor. If you've got, well, let me give you a personal example. When I first started, I had 320 individual products. Okay, I didn't talk about every individual product when I was standing in front of a customer, but they knew that they could contact my company for those individual products. And then given the opportunity, I would use the various products that fit their need. So you need to back up, okay, come up higher. What overall benefit does your company deliver to the end user, or what is the higher level of strategy or product or service that you're delivering to the customer, and promote that. Okay, for example, pillows. Okay, there are all different kinds of pillows. I'm just picking out of thin air. Pillows for every purpose. Okay, you got throw pillows, you got decorative pillows, you got sleeping bed pillows, you've got on and on and on and on. You got memory foam pillows. Okay, so you don't have to promote in social media every individual product. You need to come up a little bit higher in your strategy and figure out what it is that's going to attract people to your website so that they can say, oh, wow, you've got everything here. I mean, I remember when Amazon was just books. Okay, now it's everything under the sun. It's all under the Amazon umbrella, though. They promote Amazon. They promote the experience. So I hope that answers it.
So here's another one from Laurie O'Toole. Thank you. Is Google Analytics free?
I believe there's a charge for it. It's not real expensive. Robert, do you have any idea on that?
I think it's a low fee. I'm not sure what the fee is.
Yeah, it changes, but it's a fee-based system. It would be easy to find out. I'm sorry, I don't have those numbers, at my fingertips, but I'm sure you could Google it and find out.
And those of you, Jim and I keep referring to Robert. Robert Jones is another business consultant here in our Charleston SBDC office. And both Jim and Robert, their specialty is marketing. So that's why Jim and I keep pulling Robert in on his thoughts as well. So let's see, Melissa Ravenel, thank you. Online retail, starter company. What are your thoughts on shipping from China to US to customer, or buying products, clothes, and getting storage unit, and then I ship to customer? That's not necessarily a marketing question, but
Well,
can anyone?
It's a distribution question.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I'll leave China alone. Basically, you're talking about drop ship from a provider, whether it's China, India, the US. You're talking about drop ship versus bringing it to a storage facility and then you shipping it. Okay. You're incurring a lot of additional cost by you getting the shipment and storing it. That's inventory. Now, you can do that. That's one distribution channel, one distribution model. However, if you can arrange a drop shipment arrangement, by drop shipment, I mean directly from manufacturer or provider to the end user. If you can find that and work a model that way, that's going to be more beneficial financially to you. Now, the thing that you have to recognize and realize is that your reputation is riding on somebody else's ability to drop ship on time when your customer is expecting it. Okay, and the con of the other side is that you could have or could incur inventory carrying costs. So if you decide to go with getting the inventory, putting it in a storeroom and shipping it out, I would advise you to be very judicious about your inventory. And most systems like that set up A, B, and C inventory. And I won't go into great detail, but A items are those that have a high turnover. B items are those that, kind of moderate turnover. And C items are those slow movers. So you want to be judicious what type of inventory system you set up and not stock a lot of the B or C items. Okay. So either distribution channel or either distribution model can work. It depends on several different things. Your margins that you have on your products, how you're going to execute your inventory model versus your drop ship model, because it's going to take more of your time or somebody else's time. So there are pros and cons with each. But, as for advantages, again, there's pros and cons to each.
So Laura O'Toole said thank you, and she gave you a big ha-ha for Googling Google Analytics.
Good.
Melissa, also, you're most welcome. I evidently translated her B logo correctly.
Okay.
And then Caitlin Mayo said, okay, thanks. We don't have a website right now, but that is our next step. So that was the
Great.
question about, posting every single item.
Great.
So Jean Brunson answered and says, Google Analytics standard version is free. Premium features incur a cost. Robert, Jim, do you know what the difference would be between standard and premium? My assumption is the depth that you can research, clicks and views.
I believe that's correct. The depth that you can research and perhaps different attributes that you can research. Robert, do you have any more definitive information on that?
I concur. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So if anyone has any more questions, please type those in the chat box. Another quick reminder, we will be sending out a post-event survey this afternoon after the conclusion of the presentation, and those individuals that respond to the post-event survey will receive a copy of the presentation slides, as well as a recording, a link to the recording. We have recorded this. We will be distributing that more than likely a week from today. So today is Wednesday, so we will be sending that out Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I also wanted to mention to everyone that if you would like to view any of our previously recorded events, you can go to, and Jim, if you'll stop sharing, well, give me just a moment. I can pull up the website where you can go and look at all of our training events. So Jim, if you'll stop sharing, I will share my screen, and then I can provide that information really quick. So if everyone, if you can see my screen, if you go to SBDC and go to training events, the header here, it will take you to all of the upcoming events, as well as towards the bottom. All of these are recorded events that you might find of interest. So that is always a good place to go and look for anything. And also you can share these events with your colleagues and other people that are starting a business. And it looks like we do have a few more questions. So Melissa Ravenel again, what are your thoughts on having your website multiple vendors like Shopify, Amazon, or should we stick with one site?
I would stick with one site. And you mentioned two there. Amazon charges some pretty hefty fees to use their distribution system and so forth. Shopify, the fee is much less, and it is very, very robust. I have several very successful clients that use Shopify, and some of them have brick and mortar stores. Some of them, they have 3 different distribution channels: brick and mortar stores, online, and wholesale. And they have found Shopify to be extremely robust and not have had any problems with it. So I would stick with one because there are fees associated with it. And Amazon, of the two that you mentioned, is much higher.
All right, if there are not any other questions, we've got lots of thank yous for sharing the SBDC site so you can look at all of our previously recorded things. It is now 12:02, and please remember to respond to the post-event survey so we can send you this information. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jim. Thank you,
Thank you,
Robert, for
everybody.
today.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.